Alright, everyone, hello and welcome to another RWBY fanfiction reading. So, we are continuing with the Blake and Pyrrha fanfictions, although this time, well, I guess for the next two stories, it won't be exclusively Blake and Pyrrha, because, let's mix it up slightly. So, this one and the next one, which apparently are by the same person, I did not realize it. Those are multiple relationships, as it shows here. So we will have to we'll make it not exclusive, but we'll keep it. I assume it'll be there at least somewhat, although it'll probably mainly focus on like I guess Weiss and Yang in this case. So yeah. Let us go. Life Isn't a Fairy Tale by AdamGrayson. I didn't say that, but I should have. Okay. Chapter 1. The White Fang had been quiet lately, not a thing from them. No robberies, no attacks, no protests, not even an appearance. It was making Weiss nervous. She should have been enjoying the quiet from them, not having to worry about them and only focusing on Grimm. But she couldn't get the thought out of her mind. The only reason they would be quiet was they were planning something big. With Torchwick at the head of the operation, Weiss didn't know what to expect. He stole a lot of dust, but why would he need that much dust? How was he even getting the White Fang to listen to him anyway? Weiss sighed and leaned against her headboard. She was thinking about this too much lately, even more than Blake, and she was obsessed with it before the dance. Now Pyrrha was keeping her distracted, and Blake couldn't think about it all 24/7. It's not that she didn't have someone to distract her. Yang was doing so, though lately Yang was always busy with something or other, and it was always an excuse, not the real reason. Weiss was starting to wonder if she had found another girlfriend, though the mere thought was like a dagger in the chest. She decided today she would confront the blonde as soon as she walked in, whenever that would be. Blake had left the dorm to go out with Pierre for their anniversary, but Ruby was above her on the bunk. She could hear the crunch of cookies, which she didn't have much of anymore. Weiss stood up to look at her leader. "Ruby, do you know what's wrong with Yang?" Ruby furrowed her brow and finished her cookie. "What do you mean?" "Well, she's always gone," Weiss said with a frown. She hasn't been around much last couple of weeks." "Well, yeah, she's busy," Ruby said casually with a shrug. "It's nothing to worry about." "What if she's got a new girlfriend?" Ruby helpfully pointed out. "Yang's bi, you know." "Ruby, that is not helping," Weiss snapped. Ruby hopped down from her bed and put her hands on Weiss' shoulders. "Weiss, it's okay. You're worrying over nothing. Maybe she's doing something really special for you." That thought hadn't occurred to her. "I suppose she could be, but then why would she be ignoring me to do something special for me?" "Weiss, you're overthinking this. Just talk to her. You know how she gets sometimes." "She's been sneaking out at night, Ruby," Weiss told her. Ruby didn't look worried. "Tell her how you're feeling. The only way you can get through it is talking it out. I'm sure you're just worrying over nothing." Ruby grabbed her scroll from the table. "I've got to meet Jean in the library, so I'll see you later." The small girl patted her shoulder before she headed out the door. Sorry. Shortly after Yang walked in the dorm with a tired look on her face, she didn't seem to notice Weiss as she headed to her bed. Weiss grabbed her wrist to keep the blonde from jumping to the bed. Yang blinked, looking down at her wrist before the owner of the arm. "Oh, hey, Weiss. Sorry, but I'm so tired right now. I didn't get much sleep." "I know. You snuck out last night. Yang, what is going on with you? You're gone all the time." Yang sighed. "I'm sorry. I have really important stuff to do." "Doing what?" Weiss crossed her arms. "I can't tell you." Lilac eyes looked everywhere but at Weiss. Weiss frowned, eyes starting to tear up. "There's another girl, isn't there?" Yang's eyes shot open. "What? No, 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 no. Weiss, why would you think that?" "Let's see, you're gone all the time. You don't spend any more time with me. You sneak out at night when you think we're all asleep. You refuse to tell me where you're going or why, and we hardly see you here anymore. When you do, you're passed out. If there's another girl, just tell me now. We can go ahead and break up, and I can start to move." Weiss found herself caught off as a pair of lips pressed against hers. Any anger she had dissipated as she got lost in Yang's familiar taste. It was a few moments before the soft kiss had ended. "I'm sorry," Yang said, her tone serious. She took Weiss's hand in her own and rubbed her palm. "If I could tell you what I've been doing, I promise you I would. Then you would understand why I've been doing what I've been doing. I swear, though, there is no other girl. You're the only one for me." Weiss hadn't ever seen Yang so sincere, so serious, but there was a glint in her eye. She couldn't piece together what it was, but she believed her. "Okay, I'm sorry, Yang." "It's okay." Yang gave her a peck on the cheek. The door burst open and Blake walked in with Pierre right by her. The fawness looked at her teammates. "Weiss, Yang, we have to go to Osmond's office. The White Fang struck early this morning." "What happened?" Weiss spun around, not noticing Yang go rigid next to her. "They attacked the mayor's office. No one survived." Oh, shit. Alright, let us continue. Because, here we go. Alright, Chapter 2. Yang and Weiss followed Blake and Pierre straight to Osmond's office. RWBY and the rest of Team Juniper were already inside. "Mrs. Xiaolong, you look terrible," Osmond noted. "Oi." Yang nodded. "I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately. If you're sending us out on a mission, it may be best if I sit out. I don't want to endanger my team." Osmond gave her an unreadable look, but nodded. "Understood, but that issue needs to get resolved. They will need you soon." Osmond looked at the teams as he took a sip from his cup. "I'm sure by now you are all aware that you have been called in because of the attack on the mayor's office. Witnesses say the building was filled with explosions. When the explosions ceased, the White Fang went into the building. There were no survivors." "Why would they do that?" Pierre asked. "They've been stealing dust for months now. Why the sudden change?" "Isn't it obvious?" Weiss asked rhetorically, glancing at Pierre. "They're on to the main plan." Osmond nodded. "That is what we fear. They attacked one of our official buildings. They could be going for a straight-out war. However, they could be systematically taking out our government officials. Perhaps it was a random attack. We're not sure. What we do know is that Roman Torchwick was spotted at the scene." Ruby's eyes furrowed. "So, what are we going to do?" "We have a few buildings we suspect they will take out, if they are planning on taking out the government." Osmond looked at both teams. "Both of your teams are near the top at Beacon. It helps that RWBY has had encounters with Torchwick before. Juniper, you will be guarding the City Hall. RWBY, you will be helping the guards at the Schnee Dust Corporation." Weiss blinked. "Wait, you think the SDC could be a target?" "It's a possibility. Our society revolves around dust. If they take out the company that gives us all of our dust or somehow manage to take control of the building, Torchwick could take over easily." Jean spoke up. "Then shouldn't we all defend the SDC, or at least have Team Coffee or someone else as backup there? Especially if Yang's in no condition to fight." "This will not happen today. We will have other teams guarding periodically. Teams Coffee and Cardinal, really, why? Will be guarding today. Prior to an emergency, you will take over tomorrow and switch out every day. I don't need to tell you how serious this is. We need you all at top fighting form and alert. If anything looks suspicious, then investigate. If someone looks or acts shady, trail them. If you see Torchwick or anyone related to him, take them down immediately. If you have to kill them, then do so. But we prefer to keep them alive for a trail." Osmond took another sip. "I suggest you all go to your dorms and rest. Prepare for tomorrow. You will be excused from classes until further notice. I have complete faith in you all." Ooh, boy. It's already getting pretty crazy. Both teams retreated to the RWBY dorm. Everyone was on edge by the situation. Nervous. Blake and Pierre sat upon Blake's bed, Pierre leaning against Blake. Ren, Nora, and John were sitting on the floor between the beds. Yang and Weiss were in a position similar to Blake and Pierre on Weiss's bed, while RWBY was sitting on her bed, feet dangling in front of Weiss's face. Boy. So this is serious, Jean mumbled. Osmond's right, Pierre said. "If the White Fang can control the dust in Vale, then we are in their hands. We rely on dust so much, and our weapons, our planes." RWBY shook her head. They'd have an advantage, but we could still win. Just because the chips are down, you shouldn't count yourself as out. Either way, Ren butted in to keep an argument from starting. We shouldn't let them get control of it. We may be able to do without, but it would be a hindrance. It's best to avoid that scenario if possible. Blake shook her head. I told you something big was going to happen. She didn't try to hide the disappointment in her voice. I warned you that this wasn't over. He was coming back. But you had to make me stop searching. Pierre put a finger over her lips. Shh, it was for the best, kitten. You were driving yourself mad. Look at Yang. The redhead pointed to the blonde. Her eyes were half closed from drifting off. You could see the exhaustion on her face. This is how you look then. I still shouldn't have stopped searching completely, Blake grumbled. Yang whispered to her girlfriend. Do I really look that bad? Yes, you need to stop doing whatever you're doing at night and rest, especially tonight, Weiss said. Nora didn't seem to be her hyperactive self right now. She was focused and determined. If we see any of the White Fang, we'll take them down before they can do whatever they're planning. Exactly, RWBY nodded. Weiss sighed with a shake of her head. It won't be that easy. If it's a serious takeover, then he'll bring his best guys. Neo, Mercury, Emerald. Maybe even Cinder. This is going to be our hardest fight. We could die. Jean held up his hands. Whoa there! Slow down there. We're not even sure that is the plan. This could be random. Maybe he's just holding a grudge against the mayor. We may be guarding these buildings for nothing. That's true, but we can't leave anything out right now, RWBY said. Yang yawned loudly, leaning back as she stretched. Why don't we call it a day? I'm really beat up, and sitting around questioning ourselves isn't going to help. RWBY nodded. Good idea, sis. John stood up with his team, but before he went out the door, he looked at Team RWBY. You guys be careful tomorrow. You too, Jean, RWBY nodded. See you later, Nora said, skipping out with Ren. John followed after them as Pierre was right behind him after giving Blake a parting kiss. Once Juniper was gone, Yang stood up, grabbed her knife, closed and headed to the bathroom. Blake eyed her until the door shut, then spun to face her teammates. Are we sure Yang can handle this right now? She just needs to rest, RWBY said. She'll be in fighting by tomorrow. What if she's not? You know how she's been acting lately, Blake pointed out. Weiss sighed. She's going to have to be. We can't afford to slack, not this time. RWBY peeked over the edge of the bed to look at the white-haired girl with a smile. Don't worry, Weiss. We won't let them ruin your family's company. That's not what I'm most worried about, Weiss admitted. What if one of us gets seriously hurt, or worse? I'm not sure what I would do. It was rare that Weiss admitted such things to her team openly. Blake walked over to her and rubbed her shoulder. Don't worry, Weiss. We will all be fine. How can you know? Cats have 9 lives, Blake grinned cheekily. Yang chose that moment to come out of the bathroom, closing her scroll and sliding it onto the table. Bet that works out well for cat faunas, but humans aren't so lucky. Blake shrugged. You can just borrow one of my lives. It's not funny, Blake, Weiss deadpanned. Who said I'm kidding? Blake crawled into her bed, taking the book off the bedside table and starting to read. Weiss started to protest. Blake, don't even try, Princess, Yang said with a smile. You would do the same for her. We would do it for any of us. You know that. Yang hopped up to her bed and let out another yawn. Doesn't mean I want to think about it, Weiss mumbled. Don't worry, Weiss, Yang said. Everything will work out. Weiss nodded as she thought to herself, I hope so, because I have a bad feeling. So there's 15 chapters to this, as it says up here. So I think I'll do another chapter and then we'll end the video. So yeah, chapter 3. Weiss, come on, Yang's voice rang in her ear, though her back was to the blonde. Weiss refused to look at the blonde, not believing what she just heard. It wasn't appalling, however, more along the lines of she believed Yang to be lying. So she sat on her bed, facing the wall with her scroll in her lap, trying to drown out the blonde's words. Yang refused to be ignored and sat next to her. You can't be serious right now. You have to have seen it. Yang said. Weiss sighed in aggravation, letting it slip into her tone. I have not seen it, Yang. Yang cried out. Are you serious? Blake was staring at Pierre was staring at Blake's ass. She likes her. It was under my impression that Pierre was into Jean, Weiss stated flatly. Well, yeah, we all thought that, Yang agreed. But apparently we were wrong. Don't you see? This is perfect. Weiss closed her scroll exasperatedly and spun to face the taller girl. Yang, I know you want to help Blake get over this obsession with Torchwick, but I think you're becoming obsessed with this yourself. You're seeing things that are not there. I've seen Blake checking her out too, though. It's perfect. We just need to get Pierre to ask her out. Oh, I'll go get her in the... Yang Xiaolong, you stop this right now, Weiss snapped. You didn't see anything. You were too obsessed with helping Blake. You need to calm down. Yang had this hurt look in her eye. Weiss hadn't seen it before, and she didn't like it now. She felt the guilt build in her chest before she could say anything. Yang stood up. I'll show you then, princess. Yang marched out the door with a purpose. Weiss could hear her talking to someone in the hallway. She's not doing what I think she's doing, Weiss thought in disbelief. A second later, Yang walked in with Pierre and shut the door behind her. Thank you for coming, Pierre. I have some information that you will love. Yang said with an excited grin. Yang, Weiss attempted to stop her, but she didn't listen. Pierre stared at the two in confusion. Is everything okay? No. You've seen how bad off Blake is, right? Yang asked. The redhead nodded. Of course, she looks horrible. Like she hasn't been sleeping well. It's because of that torturing man, isn't it? Yang nodded. We need your help to get her mind off of it. My help? I'm happy to help any of my friends, but if you can't get her to stop, then what can I possibly do? Pierre asked in genuine confusion. Yang gave her a wicked smile. You should ask Blake to the dance and not take no for an answer. Pierre's cheek flushed and she stuttered slightly. Assuming me as friends. Nah, Pierre, as a date. Weiss jumped up. Yang, I told you you're wrong. You're embarrassing her. Pierre stuttered once again, nervously questioning. Why would I do that? She does not wish to go to the dance. Sun already asked her and she declined. Weiss noticed the look in her eyes, the jealousy mixed with the relief hidden in the corner of green orbs. Oh my, Yang was right. Yang smiled and stepped close to Pierre, draping an arm around her shoulders. Oh, Pierre, I've seen you looking at Blake. You're staring at her ass the other day. You like her, don't you? Pierre blushed even more. Of course not. Blake and she was checking you out the other day, Yang said. She was? Pierre's eyes lit up with hope. Weiss decided to give them both a hand. Pierre, it seems to me you want to ask Blake, but you fear her saying no. But you have nothing to fear. You are a beautiful, sweet woman, and if she's even slightly attracted to you, Blake will not turn you down. You won't know unless you don't try. This is going to drive her crazy, and you obviously care about her. This will be good for you both, Weiss was speaking in a soft tone. You can be honest with us. We're your friends. Pierre blinked and let out a soft breath. Okay, it's true. I have had a crush on Blake for a couple of months now, but what can I do? If she won't go with Sun, then she didn't go with Sun because she doesn't like Sun, Weiss said. I admit I have noticed Blake looking at you a bit often as of late, but I didn't think any more of it. But now that Yang says she saw her looking at you, maybe you shouldn't count yourself out. Just ask her, Pierre. Tell her how you feel. You don't want to live life wondering what if, do you? Well, no. What if she's not interested, though? I don't want to lose a friend. Weiss shook her head. You won't. If she isn't interested, though that's a long shot, you just tell her you can still be friends. It may be awkward for a while, but it will pass. Pierre frowned in thought, her eyebrows furrowed as she stared at the floor. Yang patted her shoulder and said sincerely, Pierre, I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't believe it myself. You know she needs to get her mind off Torchwick. If you become her girlfriend, she will definitely stop thinking about that so much, and all her thoughts will be on you. Her eyes will be on you, Yang whispered in the girl's ear. Her lips and hands will not be able to resist you either. Where is she? Pierre asked. The library, Yang answered with a smile, pulling away from Pierre and stepping next to her teammate. Pierre smiled. Thank you. If this goes wrong, I shall blame you both, however. She turned and left the room, making a beeline for the library. Weiss turned to Yang. Okay, you're right. What was that? Yang grinned, cupping her ear towards and turning towards Weiss. I didn't hear that. Yang? Weiss said in a warning tone. Yang laughed. All right, spoilsport. I think you should make up for doubting me. Weiss raised an eyebrow. Oh, I should? How exactly? Now Yang looked a bit nervous. Go to the dance with me. Blue eyes widened as her jaw hit the floor. What? Go to the dance with me, Weiss. Are you serious? Yes, I like you. Well, I was talking to Pierre to get her to go after Blake, I realize that if I don't tell you how I feel, I'll never know if you feel the same. I can't wait for you to catch my subtle flirts. I have to be honest to your face and accept it if you say no. Yang looked vulnerable. Yet another thing Weiss hadn't seen from the blonde brawler. If you don't like me, we'll work it out, like you told Pyrrha. Weiss wet her lips and looked to the ground. In truth, she couldn't deny that Yang was gorgeous as well as sweet and loving, displayed by how she treated her sister. Though her puns were terrible, they grew on you to the point where you laughed even if it was horrible. But did she have feelings for Yang? Are you sure this isn't just because you want a date to the dance? Weiss asked. Yang nodded. Yes, I've been like Pierre, sitting back and watching from afar. When Neptune started to flirt with you, I got jealous. I wanted to see where this can go, Weiss. Weiss thought for another minute before nodding. While I do find you attractive, Yang, I don't know if I like you that way. Yang's face fell, and she opened her mouth to speak, but Weiss put her hand over the blonde's lips. However, I will give you a date. After the dance, we'll go out to eat at a nice place that is date-worthy. If I'm not going to lead you on, I can't say for sure I like you, but I will give it some serious thought and give you a chance. Yang smiled at her eyes. You won't regret it, Weiss. I'll be the best date you ever had. Weiss chuckled. We'll see, Yang. This is a pretty long chapter, I think. Oh, no. Weiss's eyes shot open as she was met with silver eyes looking up at her. Come on, get up. I thought we should get an early day today. Get showered and have some breakfast and plan what we're going to do before we head out. Huh? Right. Yeah, that sounds good. Weiss stood up, stretching with a yang. Oh, probably with a yawn, but that was a huge screw up there. Blake and Yang were both out of their bed. Ruby's eyes caught her looking. I woke them first. Blake showered and ran out of here so fast. I think she's worried about Pyrrha. Yang's in the shower now. Ruby was giving this assuring smile, but there was doubt hiding in the silver eyes. Ruby, you okay? I should ask if you're okay. You said, we'll see, Yang, in your sleep, Ruby teased. Dreaming about my sister again? Weiss blushed slightly, just about when she asked me to dance. But seriously, Ruby, talk to me. I'm the best partner you've ever had. She gave the girl a small smile, and Ruby returned it. Ruby sighed. I know I'm the leader, and I'm not supposed to show if I'm worried, but this can go really wrong, Weiss. What if I lose you, or Yang, or Blake? Weiss nodded. I have those thoughts, too. I don't know what I'd do if I lost any of you, but we have to have faith that this will go well, right? We've fought Roman before. We've fought the White Fang before. We'll stop whatever they have planned, and we'll all come back here. What if we don't, though? Ruby questioned. Ever since Mom died, Dad kind of lost it. He's a shell of his former self. Yang was all I had, and ever since coming here, you and Blake and even Juniper, you're like my family. The thought of one of you not coming back. Weiss wrapped the smaller girl, in a hug. Hey, come on. I know it's hard, but you can't think like that. None of us can. Sure, it could happen, but it could always happen, Ruby, even against the Grim. We just do what we always do. Look out for each other and fight until we can't fight anymore, and then we keep on fighting. We won't lose. We could be worrying over nothing. They might not even show up. Ruby nodded against her shoulder, tears dripping onto Weiss's shoulder. I know, and I'm so scared. It's okay to be scared. Just don't let the fear control you. What if I make a bad call and someone gets hurt because of me? If I lose any of you, it would be my own fault, Ruby cried. Weiss shook her head. No, you're doing what you think is right for the situation. There's always unknown variables you can't predict. You do the best you can with what knowledge you have. Things do happen sometimes, but you will do a lot more good than bad. Ruby nodded again before pulling back. Thanks, Weiss. You're my family too, Ruby. Don't do anything stupid out there, okay? Weiss gave her a playful grin to try to cheer the girl up. Ruby nodded. That means you too. I never do anything stupid on the battlefield, Weiss said. Ruby smirked, wiping her eyes. What about the time you slipped on your own ice? That was a fluke, Weiss snapped, causing Ruby to laugh. Yang chose that moment to walk out the bathroom dressed in her combat gear. She looked over at a fuming Weiss and a laughing Ruby and couldn't help but smile. Shower's free. Want me to wait for you, Weiss? Ruby asked when she managed to control the laughter. No, you go on ahead. I'll be down as soon as I'm finished, Weiss said. Ruby glanced at Yang and grinned. Okay, don't be too long, you two. With that, she left before Weiss could fuss at her. Yang made her way to her girlfriend slowly. Hey. Hi, Yang stopped in front of her, and Weiss could see that her face could see in her face that she slept that night. The bags under her eyes were gone, but she still had that look in her eye. She wasn't going to stop whatever it was she was doing. You look better. Gee, thanks, Yang chuckled bitterly. Weiss shook her head. I mean it, Yang. You looked horrible for days. You finally slept last night. We have important things to do today, Weiss, Yang said, glancing out the window momentarily. I can't afford to let you down if something goes wrong out there. There's still something wrong with you, though, isn't there, Yang? You know you can talk to me, right? Um, uh, Yang gave her a soft smile and a quick nod. I know, Weiss. Believe me, if I could tell you, I would. You would be the second person to know after Ruby. Of course, Weiss frowned. It's not It's not like that. I just. Damn it! I wish I could explain. Yang sighed. Weiss looked at her confused. Why can't you? Yang refused to meet her eyes. Please, can we drop this? But Yang, Weiss, please, Yang pleaded. Okay, Weiss relented. Yang kissed her forehead softly. I promise you I will tell you as soon as I can. I need your help with it soon, but I don't know when I'll need you for this. I'm waiting for the perfect moment. Are you out in those clubs again? Weiss asked. No, please understand that this is important. You'll know soon. We have other things to worry about today. Go take a shower. I'll head downstairs and wait with the others. Yang started to leave but stopped and leaned down to capture her lips in a soft kiss. Don't forget I love you, okay? Weiss nodded. I love you too, Yang. Good. Yang smiled and headed out the door. On the way out, she said, I don't know what I'd do if you didn't. It's a long chapter. I didn't expect this chapter to be so long. Okay. Ruby had been guarding the Shnida's company for roughly 4 hours now. The building was in the middle of town, but there were only two entrances, the main door and the door on the side where the workers load and unload the trucks. Yang and Blake were at the worker entrance while Weiss and Ruby guarded the front. Each had an earpiece in to keep in contact with each other as well as Juniper if need be. So far, everything was peaceful. They hadn't seen anyone suspicious. It was starting to look like they were guarding for nothing, but they had their orders. Ruby and Yang took time to talk their partners' ears off, though Blake and Weiss and their respective girlfriends had, I guess, their respective girlfriends on their mind to pay too much attention. Ruby nudged Weiss after the heiress hadn't answered her. Weiss. What is it? Weiss finally looked over at her. I was curious, why don't you use another weapon? The question literally baffled Weiss so much she couldn't form a response. It took a minute of racking through the dictionary in her brain before she could speak. What? I was trained with a rapier. Why are you asking now? We're on duty. Ruby looked around and gestured with her hands. On duty guarding a building. We can keep an eye open while we talk. I meant that some people use a second weapon in their other hand when they wield a rapier. Why don't you? It never occurred to me. Any weapon I use in my right hand will be lacking. My left hand is best, Weiss replied, eyes scanning over the area. There were people walking down the street, but none seemed to be a danger. Besides, I need a free hand to turn the revolver chamber of Mirtmaster. I thought you had a button for that, Ruby mumbled. You can train the other hand to wield a weapon. It doesn't have to be a second blade. You could use a dagger or maybe a pistol. Ooh, how about an automatic crossbow? Ruby, I don't question how you use crescent rows, do I? Weiss tried to keep the bite out of her words. Well, no, I wasn't trying to offend you. I was just curious. I wanted to help, Ruby said with a small pout. I know you mean well, but this is how I'm most comfortable. I suppose if it'll make you feel better, I can give it a try one day. No guarantee I'll make it an everyday thing, though. Ruby beamed before she could reply. A loud boom echoed throughout the city. What was that? Weiss looked around for the source. Sounds like an explosion. Ruby put her ear into the earpiece. Jean, is everything okay over there? It took a moment before Jean finally responded, his breathing uneven. White Fang are attacking. They're throwing dust bombs at us. There's a lot of them, Ruby. Do you need help? Ruby questioned. You have to guard the company, Jean said. She heard Yang's voice in her ear. Ruby, Blake heard from Pierre what's going on. You have to go help them. They sound outnumbered. I'll stay here and guard the building. By yourself, you can't. If I need help, I'll get some of the guards from inside to help, or I'll call Coffee or Cardinal. I'll team. Whatever. The second I sense trouble. Go on. Fine. Tell Blake to meet us at City Hall. Weiss, let's go. Weiss frowned. But what about Yang? She'll be fine here. We can't argue about this, Weiss. I don't like leaving her here alone either, but Coffee's in town. They'll be here in a heartbeat if she needs backup. Weiss didn't like the thought of leaving Yang alone, but she nodded. Fine. She spoke into her earpiece. Yang, you better be careful. You too, Weissy. Ruby took off at a run toward City Hall. Weiss gave a soft sigh before running after her partner. That was a very long chapter, and I did not expect it. So obviously this is the next chapter. We won't be reading it currently, but next time we will continue reading this. I was kind of debating whether I should continue the story or just do one part and then have you read the rest of it. But we'll read the whole thing because it's pretty good so far. Actually, next time we will be doing the other story, or the next story that is not exclusively Blake and Pyrrha. So that's what we'll be doing next time, and then after that we'll come back for another part of this. We'll switch off because just to keep it a little fresh, not make it just the same story over and over again. Although you probably want to see the end of this story, we're just gonna switch it up a bit. I don't know. Maybe you'll hate that. Who knows? I don't know. Alright, that is it.